You are watching the Notre Dame Recruiting Update. We are back. Mike Singer and Trey Anity. Thank you for joining the show today. Another Friday full of Notre Dame recruiting. Excited to get to it. It's been a couple weeks, Mike. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Retroactive here for all of our watchers and listeners today. It's been a couple weeks since we've joined you. Been St. Patrick's Day, and of course, another big week of visits of Notre Dame recruiting has gone by as well. Mike, I'm excited to hear how you're doing today. Obviously, Pot of Gold Day has happened since the last time we met as well, with a bunch of offers and a lot of exciting news surrounding Notre Dame football and recruiting here, as practice has now begun as well.
Yeah, dude, it's been busy. Yeah, we didn't have a Pot of Gold Day show because I was just too busy with all the offers. I think it ended up being 65 or so, right around 70. So that was a very busy day. And then this past Friday, I was traveling for some personal stuff. So we are back, and I'm fired up. There is a lot to talk about. It is, the January and February, other than the one recruiting weekend in January that they had, it's and some coaches on the road, it's pretty slow for those 2 months. And then March, the beginning of March was kind of slow. There wasn't too many visits, and then spring football starts, and now we're into the thick of things. I'm energized, Trey. I'm fired up for today's show. Folks, please do hit the thumbs up on the video. Go ahead and do that. I think we should get to easily 300 likes. So please go ahead and hit the thumbs up. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. So yeah, please do that.
Guys, do it. Hit that thumbs up. Get us to 500 likes. 300 is a nice bar to set there, Mike. It's a Friday. Let's go above and beyond here. Let's get to 500 likes.
Let's do it.
While you're at it, subscribe to the channel, because we want you to be a part of our family here at Blue and Gold. We want you to be in the comments as well. You have to be a subscriber to join us in the comments section. So please do that and get in the comments. I see John Murray already hanging out with us today. He wants to get up to date with CJ Carr.
We will talk about him.
We are getting there. I see my guy Jacob as well. Go Irish. It is great to have you on the show. Mike, it is great to be back. Like you said, a busy month. And, now we get to really dive into the thick of things as March starts to close out and April starts to begin. 2023 just flying by so far. And perhaps the career of many displaced corporate executives is flying by as well. It's easy to let time slip when you are looking to build the perfect franchise. So let our friends at My Perfect Franchise help you out a little bit. If you're wanting to put your career in your own hands, if maybe you're an experienced entrepreneur wanting to diversify, Andy Ledecky is here to help you. Andy is a huge college sports fan, and not just that, but he's a franchise veteran. He's owned multiple franchises and businesses, and using his expertise, he helps others find their American dream. It's a pretty good thing to find. Through a very constellation and evaluation process, a very extensive process, Andy is going to put your life and your career in your hands. And guys, best of all, his services are 100% free. So what do you have to lose here? I don't think, like we addressed on the last show, Mike, it's not 90, not 95. It is 100% free. So guys, go check him out today. That is My Perfect Franchise. Notre Dame is building the perfect franchise with this recruiting class. Anthony Knapp. So I want to talk about here first, an offensive lineman, 2 offensive line commitments in this 2024 class. What is next for Notre Dame on the offensive line as Anthony Knapp, number 2 here, to join up with the Irish?
Yeah, I always like to mention, like on these YouTube shows, a lot of the stuff we're covering has already been written at blueandgold.com because, I like to, myself and Kyle Kelly at Blue and Gold like to keep you guys very up to date on our website. So if you like this, you're going to like the website, blueandgold.com, and our current offer, that $29.99 until the start of the football season. So I did write an article at blueandgold.com. Would have just been Thursday, I believe, about like, hey, Knapp committed. What's next for the Fighting Irish? And actually, here is that article. I mean, there it is. I mean, yeah. I mean, what's next? That's kind of what the title, and you got this big man on the screen, Gerby Lambert, and I believe it's on our outline for the show to talk about him. Yep, later near the end of the show. So definitely, stay tuned for that. But yeah, Trey, Knapp commits to Notre Dame, and it's like, all right, so we'll set at 6'4", 265. Not the biggest offensive tackle. That's what he's listed at too. The interesting thing about him is that he moves like a tackle, Like he kind of has like the way he plays translates well to the next level. And I've heard some people say, and like, hey, he could be a tackle in college, and then if he makes it to the NFL, he's going to be a guard, which I think that is definitely possible. But if I were to guess right now, Trey, I think he's going to end up being a guard at Notre Dame. So with that being said, you have Anthony Knapp committed to Notre Dame. You also have Peter Jones committed to Notre Dame. Here's an interesting thing. You have Knapp listed at 6'4", 265. Peter Jones is 6'5", 285. So he's even, he's currently bigger than that, but he definitely projects as that road grader interior player. Like, I think road grader. That's the best way to describe Peter Jones. So you have two interior offensive line commits with these two guys. And then the question becomes, Trey, what's next? And there is a big-time Notre Dame offensive line target on campus right now, actually, as we record this video, and Kevin Haywood, Trey. And, he's a massive one. I mean, he's listed at 6'7", 295 pounds. That is one big dude. So you got him on campus. I think it was Monday night we first reported that Gerby Lambert, who's also, I think he's listed at 6'7", 285. He's going to be on campus for the spring game. Big news, big scoop at Blue and Gold. And then you had Andrew Sprague out of Kansas City. He visited campus last weekend. So it's interesting. You got the two interior guys. Again, Knapp, I'm going to call him an interior guy for now. Could be maybe it should be the opposite. Maybe call him a tackle for now, but probably a guard. And then you have, Haywood, Sprague, who I believe some insiders believe that he's going to end up at Michigan. I like Notre Dame. I don't know. I think the Irish have a sneaky chance to land both Haywood and Lambert, which would be absolutely huge for the Irish. Lambert, his ranking is, he's a big-time guy, number 46 overall player. Number 2 offensive tackle according to the On3 industry ranking. There's Sprague, number 135, nationally number 9 tackle. And then you got Haywood and Knapp. And, they've offered some other guys. They would love to get in the mix with Brandon Baker. That's a long shot. Josiah Thompson, don't really hear anything. And then these interior guys, Grant Bricks, Caleb Brewer. What happens with Styles Prescott, the interior? Maybe he's a tackle. I think he's got tackle or guard potential. Like there's some wild cards in there with Bricks, Brewer, and Prescott. What kind of happens with there. But I will say this. Notre Dame offensive line recruiting, as always, Trey, it's in a good spot. I wouldn't really be too concerned about, oh man, are they stocking up on too many interior guys? I'm not worried about it, especially considering Notre Dame is offensive line use. So let's say they do stock up on too many interior players. Blake Fisher and Joe Alt declare for the NFL after this season. Let's just say that happens. It's Notre Dame. They're going to go. They can get, I'm sure, anyone in the transfer portal if they want. Like there was a Maryland offensive line transfer. I think it was a tackle. No, Notre Dame was recruiting as a guard to potentially put next to Joe Wall. I can't remember his name. Lunsford or something like that. I think he ended up at LSU. I think Notre Dame could have got him at the snap of a finger. Like they ended up choosing not to and wanted the guards that they currently have on their roster. But I think it just kind of goes to show that it's Notre Dame. They can get anyone really they want. Maybe I'm kind of being cocky homer here by saying that, but I do think for offensive line transfer recruiting, Notre Dame could do what they want. I mean, you just say, hey, you have 1 year left. Maybe you're a fringe NFL guy. Do you want to go to the NFL for sure? Just Google Notre Dame offensive lineman in the NFL.
It's part of the brand, Mike. And you're not being cocky. I mean, we're not going to ask Ben and Jerry's to stop selling ice cream tomorrow. This is what Notre Dame does. And I believe Mason Lunsford from Maryland, like you said there, could have easily have been a part of this thing as well. But, you have 2 big opportunities here. As Jason Smith said, those 2 would be huge, literally. I mean, big guys here. And Notre Dame trying to get them in this offensive line class. We've seen, Obviously a different set of offers since the change from Heastand, but you love what Notre Dame is doing as always at offensive line. OLU for Notre Dame. Let's talk about QBU though. Notre Dame trying to become with CJ Carr has a set visit, a return visit that is to Notre Dame. What is the latest on CJ Carr? He's the headliner of our show, Mike. A lot of people interested in the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, we love quarterbacks at Blue and Gold. We talk about quarterbacks as much as we can because they're not only very important, but they're also really interesting. So there's a lot, and I want to make something pretty clear here, Trey.
Make it very clear.
Yeah, let's do it as I pop up. We'll watch some of his junior. We'll watch some of his junior tape. How about that, Trey? I've written about this extensively. So if you watch all these videos and you read all my articles about Carr, you know this. But I just want to be very clear on this. CJ Carr doesn't have, like, none of these recruits have to say anything publicly. They don't have to do any interviews. They can do what they want, whether that's be very active in the media or not. It's their right. They don't have to do anything. But when CJ goes from being Notre Dame everything on social media to quiet, then I think it's fair to kind of be like, is he good? Especially after Tommy Rees leaves. And although there's the huge context of he's with his 7-on-7 team, he is taking these visits. He's going to Knoxville, Tennessee this weekend with his 7-on-7 team, California Power. They're visiting Tennessee. He's been to LSU with his 7-on-7 team. They had a tournament in New Orleans. Texas and Texas A&M, they were in the Houston area for a 7-on-7 tournament. They went and visited those schools. So there's that really, and they did Washington even earlier in the year before Rees left for Alabama. So this has been something going on before. So again, their 7-on-7 visits, they're not important in my opinion. But when you do add that in with all these other things, it's kind of like there is a little bit of concern there. So it's a big thing. My recruiting mantra is follow the visits, right? And I think there's the context of those 7-on-7 visits not being really important. They are visits. I'm sure he's talking to the coaching staffs there, but like Tennessee that he's going to this weekend, they just got a quarterback commitment for Jake Merklinger from Georgia yesterday, I think. So it's like, again, there's very important context. It can't just be a blanket statement, follow visits. But him getting back to Notre Dame next Thursday, as we first reported at Blue and Gold, that's pretty sweet news, I think. And I'm also expecting that he'll be on campus for the spring game as well. So that's 2 visits this month, likely. That's really good for the Irish. The 7-on-7 schedule, I believe for him, is going to start to slow down. Maybe 1 or 2 camps or excuse me, 7-on-7s in April, May, June. I think it'll kind of die down. So that's good. No 7-on-7 weekends, more likely get to Notre Dame more. So listen, I've said this before as well. CJ Carr is a football junkie. You look at his family tree. It's football everywhere. Mom's side, dad's side. Of course, he's got the Lloyd Carr being his grandson. Football's everywhere. If the football side of things is good, I'm sure Thursday he'll watch practice. He'll have, film room meetings with Gino Guidugli and Jared Parker, the quarterback's coach and offense coordinator, respectively. I think everything will work out on the football side of things. I mean, different, quarterbacks and, quarterbacks coaches at the high school level and stuff that I know that have met with Guidugli and Parker just rave about those guys. And this is off the record. So if they were telling me, hey, we're not too impressed, then that's what I would hear. But, totally off the record. And it's all just raving about those 2 guys. So I think this is all good news here. And going back to my original point of, like, Carr doesn't have to say anything. This is more of a speculation thing from guys like me in the media. But it's important. We're not talking about a linebacker or a center recruit here. We're talking about a quarterback, a guy who is a potentially program changing talent. So yeah, if he's thinking about if there's signs that he could be thinking about wavering, then yeah, that's huge news, and we're going to talk about it. So I just love that throw. Oh wait, I was thinking of a different throw. I was thinking of a sophomore film actually. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. This is big stuff. So now him getting to Notre Dame next Thursday, I think that's equally huge. That's huge news. This is follow the visits in a very positive way. That him getting back to Notre Dame is very important, Trey.
You got to follow the visits. Not always, but it's telling a lot of the time there. You see his On3 profile already committed there, but several others in the area interested as well. CJ Carr out of the class of 2024. And Mike, you said it. Jake Merklinger committed to Tennessee earlier.
Yeah.
I know he's checking out the Knoxville area. But as he looks at Notre Dame's quarterback room, sees a little bit of a logjam there right now. How does that affect his recruitment?
Oh, all right, let me add something real quick. You know who also is checking out the Knoxville area this weekend? Me. So CJ's going to that 7-on-7 tournament at Knoxville. This is my plan for Friday. We're gonna finish this show. I got a couple post-production items for the show to knock out. I'm going to finish packing. I'm going to go to Taco Bell because Kiro Taco Bell. And then I'm driving up to Knoxville. So I will be at the 7-on-7 tournament this weekend. So interview with CJ. He's got tons of 7-on-7 teammates who are huge Notre Dame targets. Jaden Riddell, the tight end who visited last weekend. I'll talk to him. I believe Quasi Gilmer, a California receiver, is a huge target for the Irish. He'll be on campus. He'll be at the tournament. I'll plan to talk to him. And then there's like some defensive and offensive linemen who are with the California Power Group who obviously aren't playing in the 7-on-7 tournament, but they're with them to visit Tennessee. So, yeah, it should be pretty exciting. The tournament itself does not have many teams. I think that will not be exciting, but I'll get to talk to all these guys, get all the videos. So between blueandgold.com and our YouTube channel, that will be awesome. I'm very excited about that. And then in terms of the quarterback room, look, I think a few years ago and before that, for all time of college football, I think that's an important thing. Like you look at the quarterback room, but now with how mobility is and in terms of transferring and the one-time transfer rule, and I don't know. I mean, you just have to expect, like, if you're coming in as a true freshman, what that quarterback room is going to look like in a year or two might be completely different. You might have several quarterbacks coming in, leaving, coming in, whether that's the high school ranks, the transfer portal ranks. Like, you just have to expect that. So if I'm CJ Carr, my family knows college football. Like, we're pretty smart people. We know that the quarterback room is loaded right now. I mean, but Sam Hartman's not going to be there when CJ Carr is there. I'm thinking about it pretty favorably because if I'm better than Steve Angeli and Kenny Minchie and I'm CJ Carr, I might start as a true freshman. Like, it's a real possibility. Or maybe Notre Dame goes out and get a transfer guy. Like, you just, so much depends on what happens on the football field right now for this season. So, and the grass might not be greener. It's like, all right, well, Notre Dame's quarterback room's loaded. I'm going to go somewhere else. They could also just go get a transfer and change the trajectory. And here's the thing about Notre Dame is they don't really get undergrad guys. So if, I don't know, who's a top quarterback? If Arch Manning says, I hate Texas, I want to go somewhere else after his freshman year, he's probably not going to Notre Dame because Notre Dame doesn't get undergrad guys. It's rare. So if Notre Dame does get a quarterback transfer, it's probably a graduate guy and a one-year rental type. So I think that actually is a good thing for these young quarterbacks looking at Notre Dame.
The timing could be perfect. It really could be. It's got to be difficult right now, Mike, if you are a recruit at any position, especially quarterback, with the way that college football is changing, with the way the transfer portal is changing and changing the makeup of a lot of these teams. Notre Dame obviously utilizing the transfer portal at quarterback this year, but it could mean really nice timing for a guy like CJ Carr. Carr in Knoxville, Mike, going to be taking his car up to Knoxville, the volunteer state, to check him out.
You and your puns, Trey. You kill me, man.
I've been sitting here all day trying to think of something, Mike, and I'm glad I could tie one into your trip. And with that trip, There's going to be all kinds of coverage, like you said,
Yeah.
at blueandgold.com, on Twitter. Guys, sit down, challenge yourself. See how much Notre Dame content you can, take in this weekend. Because right now is the off season. This is where the real fans are made. If you're
Yeah.
watching this show, you're probably a real Notre Dame fan. So tune in.
Trey, that's a great point. The off season is where the real fans are made. Like if you're just a September to December, January fan, that's fine. But if you're watching the show, you're a diehard. Like you are. Like that's just how it goes. Like if you care about recruiting and you follow it, you're a diehard. It's probably unhealthy level. Like let's just be honest. Like thank you. The guys who follow my work, guys and gals, you're a diehard, and I appreciate you. That's how I have a job because of you. So thank you.
We appreciate you being here. It does mean you're a diehard. Unhealthy, I'm going to disagree there, though, Mike. There is no unhealthy amount of Notre Dame football that you can take in. So keep on, guys. Be addicts, and be sure to continue to join us here throughout this offseason and on blueandgold.com. And I see my guy Kent there in the comments. What is up, Kent? Thank you for joining us. Guys, if you have a comment or a question, be like Kent. Hit us up in the comments section with your thoughts on Notre Dame recruiting. And Mike, I know you had some thoughts this week, really some questions heading into the weekend, and they were burning. They were scorching on fire. Let's start here, your 5 burning questions for the weekend. Let me uncover it here for us. Let's start with number 1. Who can the staff make a big move for this weekend?
So this was an article I posted at blueandgold.com today, and I thought it was just good to continue to talk about it for the show. So yeah, there it is. 5 burning questions for Notre Dame's recruiting weekend. So I'm going to give people a little extra insight, to throw a bone for our folks on YouTube. So who can the staff make a big move for? That's kind of my biggest burning question, because when you look at the visit list, which full visit list can be found at blueandgold.com on our loose emoji message board. Rest in peace to the GOAT. When you look at it, there's no one that screams to me like, all right, this guy's on commit watch. There's no one. But for last weekend, Trey, I don't like the 2 that I thought didn't commit. And then you have Anthony Knapp visit. And when Anthony Knapp visits, like, all right, he's got a modest offer list: Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Penn State. I mean, that's a pretty big time. But, Georgia Tech, like, no big time SECs on his list. And so I was thinking, like, all right, I could see Notre Dame offering him, but also not. Gets his offer on Friday, calls Marcus Freeman 24 hours later, and then announces it a few days later. So, like, these things, I would say expect the unexpected in recruiting. Right, that's a mantra of mine, as well as follow the visits. So, yeah. So, who can the staff make a big move for? That's a big time targets on campus. Many of them visiting Notre Dame for the first time. So, who is it going to click with that they just visit Notre Dame and they absolutely love it? For Anthony Knapp, that was his first time on campus, and he already had a pre-existing relationship with Joe Rudolph. Big move was made there. So is there any other players that Notre Dame can make a big move for? That's my first burning question.
Well, it's a good one there, Mike. And we're going to have to see. But, this is where, like you said, things get really interesting. So hopefully they speed up a bit this weekend. Number 2, any chance that the Irish can flip Caleb Beasley?
How big would that be? I mean, folks who follow my work know that I am a big fan. Talking about Knoxville once again, he is committed to the Tennessee Volunteers, and I've seen him in person multiple times. I actually like Notre Dame to flip him when he was being targeted, for him to commit to Notre Dame when he first got his offer from the Fighting Irish and visited for the Irish Invasion camp last summer. Didn't work out, committed to Tennessee, and as I've said countless times, him picking Tennessee wasn't a surprise. The timing of it was. He committed a little bit early, I think, and he's still keeping his options open. Visited Auburn recently, and I believe he was also at Tennessee recently, and now getting to Notre Dame. I don't think this is going to be his last visit to South Bend either. I think Notre Dame's, as long as they have a sliver of hope, they're going to keep recruiting who I would call an elite talent. I mean, I can't believe none of these websites have them ranked as a top 100 player, like in a top 24/7 has him as the number 10 cornerback in the country. I will say it's a loaded cornerback cycle, and Notre Dame are recruiting some of the best. But man, Beasley's so good. So if there's any chance to flip Caleb Beasley for Notre Dame, they're going to keep recruiting him. That's kind of where things are at here. I mean, the staff absolutely loves this player.
It would be huge if they could go get Caleb Beasley. I believe we got his on 3 card here, 74.6. Like you said, already committed. Was back early, though, in October. So still things wide open. Lipscomb Academy, a private school. So it might make sense here for Caleb Beasley. In state, though, at Tennessee. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it. Let's go to question number 3. That is going to be, can Notre Dame sign a special cornerback class? Like you said, it is loaded this cycle. Who can they get out of this class at cornerback?
Yeah, I mean, Beasley signing would be definitely, I think he's a difference maker. So they have Carson Hobbs and Leonard Moore committed. I mean, they flipped Hobbs from South Carolina, someone who committed really early to the Gamecocks before his recruitment really took off. And I think his commitment kind of slowed things down. But then he grew up a huge Notre Dame fan. And Hobbs had told me many times, if I'm going to consider any other school other than South Carolina, it's Notre Dame. Huge Fighting Irish fan growing up with his family. So Notre Dame pulled off that flip pretty easily. So yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the highest ranking and the biggest offer list in the world, but still a really good talent and a technician at cornerback. Leonard Moore, this rangy 6'2", 180-pound-ish guy, I think was a really good get for Notre Dame and someone who I think is just going to rise up the rankings. So that's still solid gets there, but true like special play. And not that those guys aren't special players, but just in terms of like looking at the rankings and the offer list and all that stuff, I think Caleb Beasley. You got Beasley, you got Aaron Scott, who's I think on 3 as him as the number 11 player, number 2 cornerback in the country. And so he's a top 50 player nationally per the industry ranking. And then you have John Mitchell, who was just on campus last weekend. I mean, he's a special talent. So if you're able to land between those 3 guys I just mentioned, the targets, in addition to Hobbs and Moore, I think if they land one of those 3, in addition to the 2, I think that's really darn good. If you land 2 of them, now you're talking about these time corners. I think that is special. It's a lot of corners, but corners do move to safety. It happens. And I think like Leonard Moore, with his size, he could easily move to safety. It's easier to move a corner to safety than vice versa. That natural cover ability just translates better to safety. Especially like a free safety, a rangy guy. So it could be pretty exciting for Notre Dame in the cornerback recruiting cycle for 2024.
I'm with you, and I think having too many quarterbacks, if that is the case, would be a good problem to have. You take that athleticism, and just run with it there. A lot of ceiling for Notre Dame and this cornerback class. Let's move it on. Number 4 here, it is going to be, what will Deuce Knight think of his Notre Dame visit?
I said earlier that we love talking about quarterbacks, and Deuce Knight is one of the best in the 2025 cycle. And I first reported back in February, like February 10th, I believe it was, that he was going to be visiting Notre Dame this upcoming weekend. He picks up his offer from the Fighting Irish for Pot of Gold Day, and and is going to be visiting Saturday. So yeah, top 100 player per the On3 industry ranking and On3's own rankings. And he's been in contact with Gino Guidugli, Jared Parker, Chad Bowden, Marcus Freeman. Like, I just got a sneaky suspicion that Knight might want to do something different. Tennessee and Auburn, Ole Miss, when you see the RPM there, I think that RPM is actually, it's pretty accurate for just being like the early stages of this AI model. I would have Notre Dame, with a better percentage right now, but Tennessee might be the leader right now. I do like where Notre Dame's at. I just have a sneaky suspicion that he's going to want to do something different. I wrote an article about him on Thursday, and can you believe that only 7 players from Mississippi have played at Notre Dame? One of them being Caleb Offord from South Haven, Mississippi, and I've been there before when Offord was, being targeted. I think he was committed to Notre Dame at that point. It's 10 minutes south of like the Memphis, Tennessee border. So it's basically, it's like, it's on the border. So I mean, it's basically a Tennessee kid, right? Before offered, and this is according to the reporting of the late great Loose Emoji, Notre Dame's last player from Tennessee before offered was he suited up in 2000. So Notre Dame and Mississippi is not too often. I asked Knight about that. I was like, hey, Notre Dame doesn't really go into Mississippi. Like, he's like, yeah, the number one player in my state, he doesn't even have an offer from Notre Dame. So I think that's kind of a cool thing for him, like to be his own, to follow his own path, be a trailblazer. So yeah, Deuce Knight. What will he think of his visit? Because Notre Dame absolutely loves him. And I mean, they would love to have him in the class as well.
Is it because of his position? Why Deuce Knight? You said it, Mike. They do not go to the state of Mississippi very often at all. Didn't even offer the number one player. Why Deuce Knight? Why did he get the offer there?
How about a lefty? Lefties are interesting. He's a big time talent, Trey. 6'4", 190. Great on the move. Great athlete. Throws a great ball. But I think people have different opinions on lefties, but I don't know. I had no problems catching passes from lefties when I was growing up. I mean, I don't know. The lefty thing, I don't think is a big deal. But as far as his talent, 6'4", 190, rocking arm, and he's athletic. There you go, Trey.
Well, you're talking to a lefty here, Mike, so I love to hear your support for the southpaw style of player there. While I was in school,
I got a quick note about lefties, Trey.
Well, what's up?
Every person who's married into my family, a lefty.
Really?
My wife, of coming up on 5 years, is right-handed. I'm a little bit worried that it's not going to work out because she's right-handed. I'm kidding. But
this is like the royal family in England.
Dude, God. I'm not going to lie. Like, after I graduated high school, and I was like, all right, let's try to find a wife kind of deal. It's always the first question I ask a girl, like, are you right or left-handed? Need to know.
That's the first question?
First question.
Wow. All right, Mike. Obviously pretty serious about the
first direction. Was, are you a Michigan fan?
Yeah.
The answer is yes. Yeah, I'm teasing. Maybe I shouldn't be teasing.
Well, it's a fair question. It is certainly a fair question if you're a Notre Dame fan. But, you'd take the southpaw here if you could get them. Mississippi, like you said, a rare recruiting area for Notre Dame. So going to see how Deuce Knight likes his visit up to South Bend. We got one more question. And guys, before we get to this question here, one more time, hit that like button. Yeah. You're a little bit further into the show now. Tap it. It's free. It's easy. It is right there for you. And check us out at blueandgold.com. Mike, I don't know if SparkNotes was around. I know you're an old man. You're old as dirt. I don't know if SparkNotes was around when you were coming up through the ranks, but it's been pretty popular. This is like the SparkNotes version. And the website, that's like the full book, guys. So go check out our work on blueandgold.com. Really breaking all this stuff down.
I don't know if that's a good teaser there, Trey, because SparkNotes is all I needed. So maybe
this is the trailer. Go watch the movie.
There you go. I like that. I like that. Some trailers are amazing, and that's what our YouTube channel is basically a trailer for all this stuff on the website.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude, I love SparkNotes. I mean, I remember reading a book in high school, and then I needed to do a book report on something in college, and I was like, I'm just going to read the SparkNotes to freshen up on this of Mice and Men. I think that was the book too, with Lenny. It's a classic. I think that's of Mice.
Just look at the rabbits. I think I'm probably I'm misquoting here.
Yes.
And, trying to get
book. Yeah, John Steinbeck. Okay. Yeah. We touched on this earlier, so I'm not going to talk about this too much. I know we're about to talk about another offensive tackle. But yeah, that's a big question for me this weekend is, does Notre Dame, can they find that tackle commit? Can they make that big move with Kevin Haywood, who's considered a Penn State lean per the RPM? Like, what happens with, let's just rephrase it as what happens with Kevin Haywood? How does that visit go? Again, blueandgold.com will have the update there this weekend.
Guys, Sharky, one of our great regulars here, said it. Let's get this video up to 100 likes. Let's keep it going, guys. Please hit that like button. Thank you for the kind words there, Sharky. But, Mike, let's get to it. You just teased it there. Gerby, Lambert, and Justin Scott. It would be huge gets in this class as well. What are the chances Notre Dame's able to pull off, one of these, maybe two of these commitments here?
Yeah, as I was thinking about the outline for our show for what we wanted to talk about, I was just going through the board on 2024 and just thinking of stuff. So I was like, man, Notre Dame like when you talk to Irish sources, Notre Dame looks to be in the lead for Justin Scott, who is a top 35 player per, all these websites. He's at least top 35. On3 and Rivals have him as a 5-star. The industry ranking him as a 5-star, right? When you compile all of them. It's not the consensus anymore, by the way. They are weighted now. I mean, ESPN really is. They're struggling. I mean, they still have Brandon Davis Swain on their commitment list. I kid you not. Let's see. ESPN Notre Dame. Okay, so school commitments. Pull this up. I mean, look, there's Brandon Davis Swain. He decommitted like 3 months ago. So, that's not equally weighted anymore. But anyways,
that's why you're watching On3 right now.
That's right. That's right. But yeah. So yeah, Justin Scott. Back on topic here. I mean, this is an elite talent, like for sure, right? Kirby Lambert. I mean, just think about Kirby Lambert, and if Justin Scott's an interior defense lineman and he stunts, you have Kirby Lambert, against like Justin Scott. Like you could see that in practice, maybe. Come on. Notre Dame looks like they're in I hear Notre Dame Boston College battle for Kirby Lambert. Number 46 overall player, number 2 offensive tackle per the consensus. What's interesting is that On3's own rankings have him 30 and the tackle rankings 4. So it's just funny how that can kind of be. It's like, all right, On3 doesn't have him as high against the industry ranking, just in the offensive tackle rankings, but they do in the national rankings. It's kind of interesting how that goes. But anyways, I mean, can Notre Dame land both of these guys? I don't know what the parlay odds would be. Probably be like plus like 450, maybe 400, something like that.
Yeah, take it down. I feel like, I don't know. I'm gonna lean 350 here. Tease it.
I mean, it's not a huge difference there, Trey. You got to think the Scott's going to be a battle and Lambert's going to be a battle. Even if the Irish lead for them both, the parlay of them happening, yeah, I'd say about plus 400, 450. But, dude, those are not bad odds. Just think about that, folks. How excited. I mean, Kirby Lambert and Justin Scott in the same class. I mean, 2 5-star caliber talents. Something I like to temper expectations and have folks be realistic, but there's sure.
Yeah, I mean, this class in general, Mike, it's one that I think you could look at a lot of different ways, but main themes of the show, offensive line, cornerback, two areas that get you excited. You are one to temper expectations, which is a good thing, Mike. You always keep us realistic here. But, I think if you're looking at a parlay in a situation like that with 400 as the odds there, you feel really good about it.
Do you think betting is going to creep into recruiting? Like, I know like Arch Manning had odds, but like Arch Manning is like a once in a decade, like with,
yeah. I mean,
like when Tom Brady, I'm guessing Tom Brady has kids. I don't really know. But like if he has then that he's going to be a national recruit because of his last name, but like,
he gets very personal with his kids. You've seen the videos, Mike. No, I think so. I certainly think so. I mean, you look at the way that NIL is changing things and the way that just this game is changing in general. I think it does. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing necessarily, but I think eventually you see more of that as all of it becomes more regular for everybody. Kind of creep onto the scene a little bit.
Crazy.
It's wild, but that's the world we're living in. It is constantly changing. It is constantly getting better. Perhaps it is updating nonetheless. And guys, to stay in the know with all those updates and everything going on around the world of college football, around the world of Notre Dame football, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Blue and Gold, and blueandgold.com. Go check us out over there. Get in the message board with us. Hit us up.
One quick note, something that's pretty cool that I'm excited about is we're doing an Instagram takeover.
Oh.
So Notre Dame commits Carson Hobbs is visiting Notre Dame this weekend, as we talked about him earlier. And he's going to be on the Blue and Gold Instagram page doing a little takeover. So I think that'll be pretty sweet. So please go to Blue and Gold Illustrated YouTube, Instagram, Blue and Gold YouTube, Instagram. Sounded like older than my age right now, but yeah. So he will be posting from our Instagram story, some inside stuff from a Notre Dame visit. So if you're wondering what do they do on a visit, go to our Instagram story. Carson Hobbs will be posting there.
And what a cool experience. What a cool idea there, Mike. That is going to be awesome, guys. Go check it out. Instagram app, Instagram.com. Blue and Gold. I believe it's Blue and Gold Illustrated there on Instagram, Mike.
Yep.
Blue and Gold Illustrated. Check it out, guys. And blueandgold.com. Anything else, Mike? We've gone a little bit over time here on this Friday show. You got anything you want to close this with?
I always like when you ask the people where they're watching from. So I know if it's in the comments today, they watch till the end of the show. So you're a diehard for your Friday or Saturday whenever you're watching this. So let us know where you're watching from. I always like seeing that. And hit the thumbs up and stay tuned. Huge. I mean, my coverage from Knoxville for that 7-on-7 tournament. We'll have the the recruiting weekend coverage. Spring practice tomorrow, April 1st, completely open to the media. We only get to shoot, we being the media, the first 5 periods of practice, and then we have to put that stuff away, and then it's just, taking notes from what we see. But yeah, that's still going to be sweet. So with all these things, blueandgold.com and our YouTube channel, definitely stay tuned.
How do we know this is not all a prank, Mike? But it's still the 31st of March, guys. And like Mike said, please let us know where you're watching from. We got cold weather in Montana. It is warming up here where we join you from, but wherever you join us from, we appreciate it. And we hope to see you next week. For Mike Singer, my name is Trey Anity. This has been the Notre Dame Recruiting Update. Have a great weekend, everybody. Let's go Fighting Irish.